See, finish dries from the inside out. That's just what it does. And that's the reason your first coat takes a lot longer to dry than subsequent coats, because once that first coat is dry, your next coat simply bond to it, hopefully chemically, and not just a physical bond where it just sits on top of it. But it doesn't take near as long for those next subsequent coats to dry. So that's that. You probably weren't holding your breath wondering about that, but when you work by yourself and there's no one else to talk to, you end up passing on that little tidbits. I finish on the insides of my stocks very carefully, because I never know if somebody's going to be caught out in the rain or something like that. I'm pretty meticulous about finishing the insides. I don't do this with every coat. I just do it with the first coat or two. Now, this stuff can be put on with a rag or with a brush or by spray or with your fingers. When you put it on with your fingers, you rub it in. You rub it in really well. A brush rubs it in some. Adequately, put it that way. A spray, I'd rather brush it or rub it the first coat to get it down in there really well. And I just realized something. I don't have my little holder. I made a bracket to hold this thing, and I don't have it on here, because the reason I left it off was I wanted to do the inside, and it fills up the whole inside of it. So all I can do is hold it by the checking. And for right now, that's enough, but I'm going to have to set this thing down in a couple minutes when I do the buttstock. And I need a way to set it on something. As sharp as that edge is, and as sharp as that can edge is, I'm going to set it right there for right now. I'm not taking too much care to keep this off the checking, because I'm going to recut all that checking. I'm going to clean it out, and I'll do whatever it takes to make that back to original. This first coat is mainly just get it on there. Just get it on. Don't have any runs. Don't have any thin places. Just put it on there. First coat. Only God can make a piece of wood like that. We just get to play with it. all I'm doing is cleaning out and deepening these lines. This is obviously an old stock. It's already been finished. It's been stripped and refinished and repaired. And as I sand, when I'm sanding my finish, I get over here and I sand the tops off this checking. So I've got to deepen them to make the tops pointed. I have to deepen the lines. The pattern is already laid out, obviously. I'm just finding the lines that were already there and just cutting them in deeper. That's all I'm doing. And this is, it's either 26 or 28 lines per inch, I'm not sure. But it's very fine. And it's easy to jump the tracks and jump over into another line. So you've got to be really careful on each cut. You stay in the center of that groove. I've gotten over here into this area where I epoxied this crack back together. It goes right through here. Now I'm starting to check across it. When I do, I'm cutting that epoxy out of those grooves. If you're not careful, you'll hit that epoxy and it's like a car hitting a patch of ice. It'll want to slide out of control. It'll want to jump track. As I check over it, as I cut that epoxy out, that line, that broken line disappears. Now I'll put checking oil in this when I'm done and it'll disappear even more. It'll get to where if you didn't know it was there, you'd never find it. Following some of these lines is really touchy. Some of them probably not 3 or 4 thousandths of an inch deep, where they've been filled up, they've been sanded off on top and filled up with finish. There's just barely a shadow of a line left. There's one of the biggest blobs of epoxy I've got left.